What is up, YouTube? It's Lions Fan Express coming at you with that man-to-man press. And in today's video, I'm going to give you guys my top 5 wide receiver prospects for the 2024 NFL Draft. If you guys didn't know, this is a deep class, a talented class from top to bottom. And there's going to be a lot of big names called on day one, including these top 5 receivers I have listed. So get ready to hear these names, because there's some really good ones and some familiar ones as well. So at number 5, I have Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU. He's 6'4", 215 pounds. He has an 86 prospect grade, which is a late first, early second in my grading system. Some potential landing spots are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Baltimore Ravens. All teams that are kind of in need of a receiver, but pick later in the first round. And my player comparison for him is Christian Watson. And his 2023 stats, he had 68 receptions, 117 yards, and 17 touchdowns. After watching his tape, this is what I had to say about Brian Thomas Jr. He has incredible length to go with his legit 4.4 speed. He's able to create separation, is smooth out of his release, and has demonstrated the ability to go up and adjust to the ball when it's in the air. He does have tight hips and doesn't break as many tackles as you would like, and has a habit of taking his eye off the ball before he secures it, which could lead to potential drops at the NFL level. I think he's somewhat of a raw prospect, but his athletic traits will wow scouts at the combine. I think he has a second round grade, but has the potential to be taken in the first round. And at number 4, I have Troy Franklin from Oregon. He's 6'3", 187 pounds, and I gave him a 90 grade, which is a mid-first. And some potential landing spots for him are the Cincinnati Bengals, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Miami Dolphins. His player comparison for me is Calvin Ridley. And his 2023 stats, he had 81 receptions, 1,383 yards, and 14 touchdowns. After watching his tape, I'm not going to lie, I love his tape. He is fast, athletic, shifty in the open field, a good route runner. He can create separation, shows great body control, all elite wide receiver traits. He had a great year at Oregon, but to be successful in the NFL, he's going to have to put on weight on his light frame, gain that extra strength that you know you're going to need at the NFL level, and he's going to have to work on holding onto the ball during collisions. He's a great prototypical X receiver, and I expect to hear his name called in the first round of the draft. And at number 3, I have Malik Nabers, the teammate of Brian Thomas Jr. He also went to LSU. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds, and I gave him also a 90 grade, which is a mid-first. Looking at some potential landing spots, the New York Jets, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Cincinnati Bengals are all teams that could use a receiver like Malik Nabers, someone of his skill set, someone that can provide that instant boost to their offense for a quarterback. My player composition for him is DJ Moore, and his 2023 stats, he had 89 receptions, 1,569 yards, and 14 touchdowns. After watching his tape, Malik Nabers is a deep ball threat that quarterbacks love to air out to. His speed and explosiveness allow him to create separation with the DBs. He runs hard after the catch. I mean, he runs like really hard, and demonstrates excellent body control when he goes up in the air for the ball. My knocks on him is he going to be big enough to play on the outside, or will he have to be predominantly working in the slot? His hands are questionable at times as well due to drops, but he catches a lot of passes with his body as well, which could be an issue at the NFL level. Nabers seems like a really intriguing prospect that could be a dangerous weapon in the right offense. Right now, I have him as a mid-first round grade. Still really good, just a slight tier below Odunze and Harrison Jr. And at number 2, I have Rome Odunze from Washington. He's 6'3", 215 pounds. He is a 91 prospect grade, which is an early first. Some potential landing spots. I think the Falcons could be a team that look to take him. The Tennessee Titans or the New York Jets as well, pairing him up with Garrett Wilson. Oof, that would be a tough combo for sure. And his player comparison for me is Michael Pittman Jr. In his 2023 stats, he had 92 receptions, 1,640 yards receiving, and 13 touchdowns. Yeah, he had a monster season for sure. And then looking at his tape, Odunze checks all the boxes as a receiver prospect. He's got the physical tools, he's got the speed, got the acceleration to punish the defense vertically. He textbook catches the ball with his hands. He actually might have the best hands in this class. And he puts up monster stats back-to-back years against good competition. He's an extremely talented prospect, but I do have some mild concerns with his willingness to block, his lack of route tree diversity. Basically, Washington just kept sending him on either screens or fade balls, which worked, but that might not work at the NFL level. And he did struggle with separation too. You know, can he go up and get it mentally to make up for that lack of separation he creates is a question that I have. All that aside, I think Odunze will translate well to the NFL, is an early first-round talent, and could even push for a top 10 draft spot in April. The big question is he wide receiver 1 or is he wide receiver 2? And at number 1, I have Marvin Harrison Jr. from Ohio State. He's 6'4", 205 pounds. He's got a 92 prospect grade, which is an early first, one of the highest graded prospects I have on my board right now. And some potential landing spots are the Chicago Bears, who have the number 1 and number 9 overall pick, the Patriots, the Washington Commanders, and the Arizona Cardinals. My player comparison for him is AJ Green. In his 2023 stats, he had 67 receptions, 1,211 yards receiving, and 14 touchdowns. So before I even watched his film, I knew Marvin Harrison Jr. was getting a lot of hype. So going into it, I had to kind of like look at it from a neutral perspective. And this is my honest opinion on Marvin Harrison Jr. The NFL bloodline continues as the Ohio State receiver gets ready for the 2024 NFL Draft. Some scouts are describing him as generational, but when you look at his traits, what does MHJ bring to the table? He has the size, he has the speed, he has the skill, he has a good head on his shoulders, and he can make big plays. The list goes on. But while I really like Marvin Harrison Jr. as a prospect, he has some things that he needs to clean up at the NFL level if he wants to be a Hall of Fame just like his dad. His route running can get lazy at times. He has more drops than he should. And while he can pop off at any night, he's had enough games that were pretty quiet for me to raise an eyebrow. I think when a prospect gets as much hype as Marvin Harrison Jr. has since he got to college, it can be a tall task to live up to those expectations. Is he an all-around player with a lot of elite traits? Yeah, I think so. But I would be hesitant to use the G word, generational, when describing him as a prospect. He's no doubt a surefire top 10 pick in this draft, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got drafted in the top 5 as well. So those are my top 5 receiver prospects. Some honorable mentions were Keenan Coleman from Florida State. I didn't have as high of a grade on him as some others did, and also Ladd McConkey, another guy that I think that it's probably more of a day 2 prospect as well. Wasn't as high in him as some others, but I think these guys are the cream of the crop. These are the guys that are really going to make the scouts, the GMs, the coaches, they're going to have their names on their board because these are guys that are game changers. These are guys that can add to an offense, that can make an offense more explosive, more creative, and that can contribute right away. So with that being said, I hope you guys like this video. Again, I'm not slandering Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he's a really great prospect. I just don't think he is generational. But if you guys disagree with that, let me know in the comment section down below. And if you guys like this content, be sure to subscribe and like the content. And as always, Lions fans and NFL fans, stay hungry.